Readers engaging with a story's imagery, metaphor, or symbolism should not be made to feel as though they're playing an elaborate game of hide and seek. That grandfather clock struck at 6:14 keeps reappearing. If I figure out what that means, I'll have figured out the story. There's something too easy about this approach, too reductive, that risks making the reader feel as though they're back in grade 8 English class trying to read the teacher's mind and get the answer right. Make sure your imagery is as complex as your story and makes the reader think and think again about the story's depths, rather than feel as though the story is a nut to crack once and simplistically.
Similarly, make sure that you're keeping things fresh and unique to your own particular vision of the world. Don't rely on stock images or literary symbols you've seen too many times before. Thunderclouds, cracked mirrors, tarnished wedding rings. It's the difference between taking your own photographs and grabbing them off Google Images. Do you want to tell your story, or do you want someone else's work to provide a lazy shortcut?
Some writers, far from being lazy with metaphor, go to the opposite extreme and work too hard to shoehorn in all kinds of heavily worked material, resulting in a manuscript that feels precious or cluttered. In a second or subsequent draft, your job is to become a curator of your own best effects. Keep only those that are most telling, and be merciless with those that are less beautiful, less important, less thematically relevant. Decoration for the sake of decoration is suspect. Your linguistic flourishes should have meaning, significance. If they aren't load-bearing, they should go.
Here are a couple of quotations. Senator McCain suggests that I'm green behind the ears. Barack Obama. I knew enough to realize that the alligators were in the swamp and it was time to circle the wagons. Rush Limbaugh. Mixed metaphors are usually evidence that the writer is trying a little too hard for figurative linguistic effects. They occur when one analogy is abandoned mid-thought or mid-sentence, and another is introduced that bears little to no relation to what precedes it. Wet behind the ears and green are getting at the same idea, but one refers to animal life and the other to plant life. Circling the wagons in a swamp is probably not the best tactic for fending off alligators, though it might be amusing to watch someone try. As with cliches, mixed metaphors can also be the result of a writer working at speed, trying to get ideas down quickly. Don't beat yourself up over these, but do look out for them during the revision process.
One of the hallmarks of poetry is repetition. If you've struck upon a symbolic image that appears only once, ask yourself whether it's earning its keep or whether you can make it work a little harder. Not only will the reader be attuned to the return of your best symbols and images, they'll appreciate the extra nuances and alterations of meaning with each new mention. Repetition is a way of developing your themes and your ideas. With each new pass, as well as providing a pleasing structural element, you'll be deepening your reader's understanding of the underlying material you're getting at, which leads us to
stasis. If a particular symbolic object has the exact same meaning every time it recurs in your story, chances are it's falling flat. Just as we crave forward motion and development, change, in a story's plot and characters, so too will a reader respond most fully to an image or metaphor that takes on slightly different shades of meaning each time it recurs. Think of it as twisting a kaleidoscope. You have the same elements each time, but slightly rearranged to reflect the unfolding meaning of the story itself. So for example, maybe your recurring motif is the color green. Consider all the shades of meaning greenness can take on. Newness or an unproven quality, like a green branch. Jealousy, the green-eyed monster. Life, abundant springtime foliage. Death, mold and decay. Endurance, the evergreen branch, and so on. Maybe green represents your protagonist at various stages of his life. If you limit yourself to, say, a favorite green cup that survives every house move from boyhood bedroom to the old age home, you might be missing opportunities for development of the full scope of greenness and everything it can say about your character.
The bottom line is that this level of linguistic precision is hard to achieve. It's a process of discovery, of peeling away, of considering your finds, turning them over in your hands and keeping only the very best. You're curating the effects in language that are most powerful and meaningful for your project, that do the most work. Shifting from our archaeology metaphor to mining, you should never expect to uncover all these gems in a first draft. Each draft will afford you the opportunity to dig deeper. You may have to drill through a lot of rubble, but know that your persistence will pay off, and eventually, with relentless polishing, that elusive glint will become the prize that makes sense of your endeavors.